Welcome to the Dance Reel podcast. I'm Kate Histon. Before we dive into this episode, I would love a favour from you. To help us bring some wonderful guests to our show and grow, please subscribe or follow this channel, like, comment and share with a friend. That would be a great help. Thank you so much. This episode was sponsored by Master Dancer Mindset. Know yourself, be yourself and express yourself on and off the stage. Today on the Dance Reel podcast, I'm speaking with the fabulous Jenna Roberts. Jenna is a former principal dancer with Birmingham Royal Ballet. Jenna shares so much in this episode, from her earlier training at the Marie Waterman Dance Academy to her life transitions from pre-professional to professional. Her life journey is so rich and she is one of the most beautiful, humble, generous humans I've ever met. And I believe that this part of Jenna is what has always led her in her life. In this episode, Jenna talks about her experience with disordered eating and her link with infertility. She speaks about the life of a professional ballerina, the beautiful role that her family played, and her work now with REDS, which stands for Relative Energy Deficiency in Sport. I hope you enjoy this wonderful episode. Jenna, welcome to my podcast. I'm very flattered that you took me up on the invitation, my friend.
Oh, honestly, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
I have so many questions for you, but first I would love to share a little story about how I know you. We're both students of Marie Waterman, and I was a couple of years older than you, not giving away our ages, but I remember being there just watching you and your sister. Wow, just such beautiful, kind souls and hard workers, and you both just always shone in that dance studio space. And it was, just lovely watching you. And then as I got a little bit older and I started teaching meditation, you were full-time. And I have to share the funny story. And you're preparing for the Genet Awards. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And you came up and you said, I'm really not coping, like I'm just stressed. I just need a day off. And you just knew that you needed like half a day off. And I remember feeling so responsible and like I just wanted to hug you and tell you it's all going to be okay. And so I went up to Miss Marie, sorry, Marie. And I said, Marie, Jenna just really needs some time off. And she went, what? The awards are like next week or something. That was so soon. I'm all of 19. And I go, I'm going to take her home so she can rest. So years later, when I had my own dance school, I cringed at this. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Who did I think I was, And I didn't take you to your house because your mum wasn't there. We had no mobile phones back then.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know what to do. So I took you back to my house and then you had to sleep.
Oh my God.
You were just so polite and lovely. And then I drove you home and it was all fine. But years later, I had a moment of going, that was so inappropriate of me.
Oh my God, I love that. But how amazing is that though? And how brave of you to go up to like Miss Marie, because we were all a little bit scared, and say,
I mean, not that she's scary, but she's in that position of...
she's not. She's not scary, but, having like the head teacher and and saying, I'm just going to take her. She does not need to dance today.
I said, no, I'm taking her.
I love that. And it was amazing. I did. I needed it. And you were amazing. And exactly what I needed at that moment. So. And
I don't think I ever got to, because then I moved to Byron Bay not long after that. And I can't remember if I got to actually check in with how the Genet was. This is what all of 2000. This is 2000.
Yeah. No, I think. Was it? Yeah, must have been. Yeah.
And since... principal artist of Birmingham Ballet?
Yeah, principal of Birmingham Royal Ballet, yeah. So, crazy.
Maybe you can share with the listeners your experience of, first of all, we always start with how did you begin ballet and what was that like for you to when you stepped into your career?
The reason I started ballet was we had the big earthquake in Newcastle and Marie's studio that completely collapsed at the time, which I think was in town. And it completely collapsed. And so she then moved the studio into Pearson Street in Lambton, which was my street. So it was literally the opposite end of the street.
Yeah.
And that is the only reason we started.
Yeah.
There was no ballet whatsoever in our family, no dance, nothing like that. It was literally because there was a studio at the end, a ballet studio at the end of the street, and mum thought that it'd be a good way to keep us off the streets and
Yeah.
I guess give us something to do. And so my
Yeah.
sister and I started there, and that was, yeah, that's why. No other
How old
reason.
were you when you started, both of you?
I think I was 6. I
Yeah.
think I was 6, and Callie was little, so she must have been 3. So we were young.
And take us to, like, so when you went full time and then the Genet and then how you started your career. So what was that like, first of all, going full time? How did you know that you wanted to be a ballerina?
I did want to be a ballerina, but I didn't know if that was going to be like, I don't know, the thing that I did. I always really was so focused and worked really hard. A real defining moment for me was my parents saved up and they took Callie and I to go see the Australian Ballet's Madame Butterfly. So Stanton Welch's Madame Butterfly. And I remember seeing that for the first time at the Sydney Opera House and just being like, oh my God, it's the best thing I've ever seen. And I think that moment kind of made me think, oh, I would really love to do this. And to be honest, I don't know if I ever really thought that I would get to where I did. I think when we were at Marie's, I just had such a good time. Like I had
Yeah.
such a good childhood and
Yeah.
really loved it there. I had so much fun, such great friends. Yeah, I just had fun there. There were hard times. And then when we went full time, of course, it gets a bit more serious. But I still remember having such a laugh with David Tandy, Luke Rayner, all of that lot. We had Amanda Green. We had so much fun, but it was hard. Full time was hard. It was a lot of work. And there were moments like those moments where you had to take me because I was struggling. I was struggling and overworked probably
Yeah.
and at such a young age and not realizing it at the time.
Yeah.
And then when we did go over to London, that was my first time out of Australia to do the Genet, and that was when I auditioned for the Royal Ballet School.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I did the audition there. To be honest, it was so long ago. I don't remember, like, I don't know why I didn't want to go to the Australian Ballet. I guess if, like, I didn't even audition for it. So I guess I just had in my mind that I wanted to go elsewhere. I wanted to go over to Europe and dance.
Wow.
I guess that was just something I wanted to do. I remember watching a lot of like the ABC used to show a lot of ballets, and I remember they showed like the opening of the Opera House when the Opera House reopened, and I remember just being absolutely blown away by that performance. And I think just watching those things on TV made me want to go elsewhere. I auditioned and then I got offered a full scholarship by Gayleen Stock at the time, who was director
Yeah.
there. But she only gave me till the end of the week to decide if I was going to accept or not. So it was like really quick. So it was like,
Wow.
yeah, 2 or 3 days to decide if I was going to take it or not.
Wow.
And I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what was that like when you first started and you moved away from home?
Oh, it was hell.
Yeah, I've
It was
spoken to a
awful.
few dancers and there's a few Australians over here. And I think just for ones that are listening, it's not that we want to scare them, but having a
No.
reality check of
Mm.
what it's like, and maybe if you have any tips for those that are moving over here.
Yeah, it's hard. I really struggled, and I didn't think I would because I was quite independent.
Mm.
My mum, like she had 4 jobs to help pay for us to go to ballet. Dad worked, like so we were pretty independent. But I got there, and I mean that was at the time like of like no FaceTime, like
Yeah.
internet was dial-up internet. Letters still took 5, 6 weeks to get back and forth. I had a little mobile phone, but you had to, use a phone card. So, and it was so expensive. So I'd use the house phone at Wolf House. And so, yeah, it was hard, really hard. And I found it difficult as well because the year there starts in September and I didn't go till January. So people had already formed their friendships, a lot of them had come from White Lodge, so had already been with each other for the last 5 years and built that. And so I very much felt like an outsider coming in. And also during that period, Galen Stock was obviously director. She was Australian of the school. So then Ross Stretton also had taken over the Royal Ballet at the time. So there was very much like this Australian, like a lot of the British felt like the Australians were taking over. You know, they were head of the Royal Ballet, they were head of the Royal Ballet School, and then they were bringing in Aussie dancers. And so I found that quite hard. And it
Yeah,
wasn't that
right.
no one was mean. There wasn't anything like that, but you just felt like an outsider, and you just felt different to the White Lodges that
Yeah,
had already
okay.
been there.
And at that tender age, like how old were you?
16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's young, especially
Yeah.
that's an important age to belong, to have that
Mm,
belonging needs met for sure. Oh,
yeah.
wow. And so then while we're on the subject, how long did it take you to then, do you think, feel settled?
Oh, I really struggled with homesickness. I had
Yeah.
really, really bad homesickness, and I had a really rough time in my first year. I got injured quite early on, and because they sent me for a scan and nothing showed up on my foot, and so they thought that my homesickness was all in my head, that I was
Oh,
kind of not pretending to have an injury, but that it was all in my head because I was so homesick. So they
oh,
just kept saying, you have to just keep dancing, you'll get past it. They had me
oh.
seeing the therapist once a week at the school
Yeah.
to try and get past this. And it just got worse and worse, and I was getting in more pain. And then my mum contacted Galen Stock and said, look, she keeps complaining about it. She's
Yeah.
not a complainer. I think we need to rescan her. And if nothing comes back, then obviously we will deal with this. But if something shows up, then she needs to be on the first plane back home.
Yeah.
And so they said, yeah, absolutely. And I remember Miss Stock said, I am 99% sure nothing is going to show up in that scan. And they rescanned me and I had a stress fracture. And
Oh,
so and so
what was your
they
first
sent me
response when you found out?
uh
Like, did you cry?
I guess I was relieved that there was something,
Yeah.
because they started to make me think that it was in my head, that maybe
Yeah.
am I just faking this because I'm so homesick that I just want to go home. So that was a really, really difficult time.
Mm,
And so then I literally came home, I rehabbed back home, back at Marie's
mm.
as well. And then I didn't want to go back. I really hated
I
it. I
bet.
really hated it. And I didn't want to go
Yeah.
back, but then it was actually my dad said to me, Australia's always going to be here. You're always going to have this opportunity back here, but you won't have that full scholarship again there at the Royal Ballet School. So give it another go
Oh,
and see. And so then I flew back, and after that, I was fine. It's weird. I was
oh,
absolutely fine
wow.
after that. I went back and started my second year. So I didn't really do much of first year. So I started second
Yeah.
year and I was fine. I was absolutely fine.
I love that your
Um,
dad did that for you.
yeah,
And like that was a game changer, right? That bit of
it was.
advice.
Yeah, it
Mm,
really was.
that's
Yeah, it really was. And yeah, and I think if he hadn't have said that, I would have just stayed in Australia and tried to go to the Aussie Ballet School, or, or maybe even given up. I don't know where I was at that time. I think in my head at that time, I was probably ready to give up. I was really struggling.
and I'm thinking about both you and your sister. And the one thing that for me, I remember about both of you, you were so hardworking, so talented, but you were never mean girls and you were never cutthroat. So you weren't like, I have to. It
Mm.
just, and I just think there's something so beautiful about that. You know, you were always so humble. And so, yeah, I'm glad for you that your dad went, come on, because the talent that you have is just exceptional. And you worked hard for that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's really lovely. Thank you.
And
Make
so
me
you
cry.
went, oh no, oh no, you're just beautiful, beautiful girls, women,
Thank you.
I'll say now, but
Thank
yeah.
you.
And so you went back there, and then when did
Mm.
Callie join you?
I was in the company by that point when she came
Yeah,
over. I would have been there, I guess, 4 years, 5 years.
yeah.
Then she came over. So, and she was at school And she came with mum and dad as well. So they came over with her. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So tell me what that
And
was like when your whole family were there.
oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was so great. I mean, by that point, I'd been 5 years living on my own. So I
Yeah.
was already doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And because I'd had that time away from the family as well, I was definitely a lot more like we've always been a really close family, but I was definitely more detached from the family
Yes.
than say like Callie
Yes.
was. I'd kind of had to grow up very quickly,
Yeah.
been on my own and not having mum and dad there. But it was amazing when they came over. It was
Yeah.
great. We spent a lot of time together. They came watch the shows. It was great. When we were performing in London, I'd stay with mum and dad. Well, everybody, a
Oh.
lot of people would stay with mum and dad. There was always a big group of us because it was free.
Yes.
So,
Oh, how nice.
yeah.
And so they stayed living over there. They didn't
Mm.
move back to Australia?
They stayed for 10 years. So then mum got sick over there. She got secondary breast cancer. So mum
Yeah.
didn't, well, she made it back to Australia, but she literally flew from England straight into a hospice. So then she didn't, yeah, get to properly move back home. But dad's back here now. And
Yeah.
that's been 11 years now. Dad's been back. So,
That was all very, yeah, very emotional for all of us. So I can't imagine how that was for you, with your beautiful mother. She was always
mm,
such a kind and lovely, wholesome human being.
yeah.
What attributes do you feel that she has left you with? Because you're a mum now yourself as well.
Mm.
So yeah, what do you feel like were her beautiful gifts that she gave you?
I mean, mum was the best. Yeah, she was amazing. I
Mm.
mean, don't get me wrong, she had her moments like all mums do, but she, she never took herself too seriously. She was always up for a good time. She was strong, like so strong. And oh, breath. And I think the main thing with mum is she always did everything for everybody else. I think she didn't do enough for herself,
Yeah.
I think. But she was so strong and yeah, just a
Yeah.
beautiful person.
Yeah.
She was.
And a beautiful dance mum. She didn't push you.
To be fair, like, I mean, yeah, for all the stuff we were doing, Callie and I, no, she was not a pushy mum at all.
Mm.
Like, not a ballet mum. But there were times where, she would push us to do something, like, especially if we didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you always have those moments like, oh, I don't want to go to ballet today,
Yeah.
and she'd be like, no, you got to go,
Yeah.
you've got to go to ballet.
Yeah.
She wouldn't just be like, oh, no, don't go or anything like that. But she was never pushy in a bad way. She was always
Yeah.
so supportive of everything. Like, to be honest, I think she would have been happy if I wasn't a dancer.
Yeah.
Like, I think she found it, I think especially for me, because I moved away so young, that
Yeah.
she lost, like,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
time with you, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny though, like that sacrifice that parents make, even what your dad said and your mum letting you go, knowing that it's your purpose, your life
Yeah.
purpose. And so they sound really like selfless, beautiful parents. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like 100%. And she did push us to be the best that we could be, but never in a bad way. I never felt kind of pushed by her or that she was trying to live her life through us or anything like that.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
never. She was, yeah, yeah. She was just the best.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And so you and your sister Callie, you shared the stage for many years. What was that like to
Yeah, we
dance with your
did.
sister?
We did. It was amazing. So she joined and she lived with me for a bit, which was not great. Because I was very clean and neat
Yeah.
freak, and she was messy, and
Yeah.
so that didn't last very long. So she didn't live with me for that long. It was honestly, it was great. We had so much fun on tours when we were doing shows. We sometimes when we did Sleeping Beauty, she'd do Caraboss and I was doing like Lilac Fairy, and or like if we were doing Swan Lake and I was doing like Odette and she was doing Big Swans. And so there were some really nice moments on stage that we had together and really fun times. It was great having her there. Like I loved it. I was devastated when she retired because she retired before me. And so I was upset when she had left. But when she first got into the company, when she said that she got the job with BRB, there was a part of me that was so happy for her. But at the same time, I was a bit like, oh, like, even though we were never rivals and we never were competitive in that way at all throughout our careers, I think, we were different ages. We just weren't
Yeah.
competitive in that way with each other. But there was a part of me that I felt like, oh, she's in my shadows. She's just
Yeah.
following. She went to the Royal Ballet School, then she is going to BRB. Like she's just doing what I'm doing. And there
Yeah.
was part of me, and I have spoken about it with her, that I wanted her to do her own thing, find her own way, and I didn't
Yeah.
want her to feel like she was in my shadow. But at the same time, I was just so happy that she was, yeah, at BRB because we had so much fun, so much fun. Like,
How
it
long
was
were you
great.
there together for?
Oh, I think was she 7 years or maybe she was longer. I can't remember actually. Well, she
Mm.
retired 2014 and she was about 7 years. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think 7 years
Yeah.
she was in the company. We had 7 years, yeah, together in the company. So, of course, we have our moments like any sisters, and
Oh, yeah.
we bicker
You've got to
and
have your
we
moments.
fight and yeah, that kind of stuff over stupid things. But yeah, it was great. It was fun. So, yeah, good times.
So, so you've had such a remarkable career with Birmingham Royal Ballet. When you look back, what moments stand out to you as truly formative and like both personally and artistically?
Personally, it's where I grew the most, relationships and things like that. It's where I met my husband,
Yeah.
my friendships, um, and that. But I think like artistically, I was very lucky. I think when I joined the company, there was like 14 dancers like left, like retired.
Wow.
They either retired or they left. And so it was just good timing. So all the
Yeah.
people that I joined with, we really got pushed
Yeah.
because the space was there, and that
Mm.
doesn't happen a lot. Once in a while, you get a mass exodus of like dancers that all leave at the
Yeah.
same time, but in general, it's usually one or two leave or something. So we were very, very lucky, like the people that I joined with, which meant we just got pushed. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if those people that hadn't left at that time, I think things would have happened much slower. I might not have got and pushed that much. It's all kind of timing, and it was just luck, really,
Mm. Yeah.
um, with that. But as soon as I joined the company, I was doing principal roles like the Balanchine's Apollo. I think in my second year, we did Romeo and Juliet, and I did Juliet, and I got pushed into Swan Lake. And so I was doing roles very, very early on.
Yeah. Wow.
Those kind of roles, getting them very early and getting that experience changed me, not only personally, but artistically. Like you just get
Yeah.
pushed
Mm.
and you might not be ready for those roles. Like I don't think I was ready for some of those roles, but they push you into them. And so you just go on there and do it. And, you hope that it's okay. But then next time it comes around, you learn from that first
Yeah.
time. And then each time those ballets come back around, you get more mature, you get more life experience, and you can channel those into those ballets. And artistically, you can,
Yeah.
you know, build on that.
How would you prepare for major roles? Like what was your creative process during that period?
It depended what ballets we were doing. If it was a story ballet, then I would, if there was a book, I would read the book, or movies, I'd watch the movies. Like I really like to get into it. I felt like that was my strength. I never felt like I was the best dancer. I wasn't a tricks person. I couldn't do loads of turns. I wasn't like a jumper. I didn't have like super, super high legs. I had really good technique. I had really good foundation. I had what they call the typical ballerina body, long legs, nice feet, but I wasn't a tricks person. And so
Okay.
I felt like for me, I really built on my artistry and
Yeah, I was
it
gonna
I felt
say
it
stunning.
yeah. I felt it came quite naturally for me,
Mm.
like the artistic side of it. And then so those kind of story ballets, I loved the acting side of it
Yeah.
and I always found that so interesting. And so for me, I really enjoyed that. It was always the kind of pure classical tutu ballets that scared me.
Yeah, right.
I never felt that comfortable in them. I'd rather a gritty or a story ballet that I I guess that I could hide behind more. Whereas like in a tutu, pure classical, you're on show that you can't hide behind it. There's nothing you can hide. And so they're really challenging, but I didn't enjoy that challenge so much. I enjoyed more the challenge of story ballets and getting into a character and I wasn't afraid to look ugly on stage.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so those pretty ones didn't, yeah, I didn't enjoy them as much.
And so I want to ask, how did you manage the lifestyle of a dancer, including diet? What did that look like for you back in your company days?
Oh, it was not very good at first. I was terrible. I mean, I struggled back at school with an eating disorder, and then that kind of overlapped into the company for a little bit. And then it was like interesting. My boyfriend at the time, he did try and really help
Yeah.
and try to get me help, but I didn't want it at that stage. And so one day, just out of the blue, I was like, I need to stop this. I really do. I need
Yeah.
to
Okay.
like get myself together and I need to stop it. And I did. But it was a struggle every day. And this is where it gets difficult because you have people telling you that, oh, you look amazing.
Yeah.
You've got the ballerina body. You're the only one that can wear that costume, things like that. And so this is where, yeah, it gets really difficult with the language that is used
Yeah.
surrounding dance and dancers that, yeah, it can really mess with you.
How old were you when you had that awareness around, if I could say, nourishing your body more? How old were you?
I would have been in my early 20s, but then, like I think there was a period there as well, like even later on where and this is where I've been talking more about REDS, like relative
Yeah.
energy deficiency.
Because you
Um,
recently spoke at IADAM, so
yeah,
I'd love you to share with us what you would like. Yeah, your
yeah.
journey on that too.
Yeah, so it started back at school when I said I got injured, and then when I was off, I put on weight, and the director at the time told me to lose weight, that I'd put on too much, and
Mm.
it stemmed from that. And it also stemmed from when I did first join the school, at Royal Ballet School, they weighed us. So, and we got weighed quite a bit.
Oh,
And I think, just things like that that happen. And I think at that early age, 16, at the time, they didn't know this was a long time
yeah,
ago. We didn't
yeah.
know these things then.
Mm.
And I think that they thought that they were just helping and trying to, um, help me have the career that I wanted to be, become the ballerina that I wanted to be.
Yeah,
But you don't realize that the language that is used can be so triggering for someone. And so I think that's where it stemmed from. Because before that, I hadn't even thought about the way I looked, or not even the way
yeah,
I looked, but like just weight and things like
yeah.
that. I hadn't weighed myself. And so it definitely stemmed from there.
Mm.
And then in the company, I think there was a period as well where whether I was aware or not, after I'd gone through my eating disorder and I'd come out on the other side, that I was underfueling. Not only you rehearsing all day and then performing, but on top of that, You go to the gym or you do yoga and Pilates, or you might swim, and you're not fueling enough to cover the output of energy that you're using. And you might be aware of it and you might not be aware of it. And there's different signs, symptoms that start flagging up. And one of the first ones is loss of period and tiredness. I never lost my period ever. I always had a regular period every month, like it was like clockwork, and never lost it. But I was always tired. I was always tired, but would put that down to, I'm rehearsing. I'm so busy. I'm rehearsing. We've got shows. I work really hard. That's what I thought that was. I got stress fractures. So I had 2 stress fractures when I was in the company. Yeah, just things like that not started to happen, but kind of happened throughout. And even though I never missed shows because I couldn't do them. I always had really, really good stamina. I slept well. I was thinking I was eating enough, and just things like that. And it's interesting how you think you're fine. And then you have the healthcare team come up to you, and the first question they will ask you is, do you have a period? And if you say yes, which I did, they were like, oh, you're fine then. Everything's fine. So, but they didn't, at that stage, they don't dig deeper, whereas now they do. But back then, this is 15 years ago, they didn't dig deeper into it.
And so do you want to share how that period of your life affected fertility, which you've mentioned as well?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, at that stage, I finished my career, and I finished probably at the peak of my career. I was probably dancing the best I've ever danced in that final couple of years. Even before that, my now husband, we knew we wanted a family. So we kind of started trying for a family, and nothing was happening, but we were just, we're both dancing, we're stressed, we're busy, tired, all that kind of stuff. And then I retired.
Sorry, I feel like we just need to say Joe. You met beautiful Joe.
Yeah.
He's still
Joe.
dancing. We haven't forgotten
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I then retired, and Joe had joined English National Ballet at this stage in London. So he'd moved companies. So I went to London with him, and we were trying, but again, wasn't falling pregnant. So I went and got tests done. They were like, everything's fine. We can't see anything. And then they tested my AMH level. My egg reserve was low for my age, but they were kind of like, oh, it should be fine. You just need 1 egg. And so then we did some more tests and got some more scans done, and found out that I wasn't actually ovulating. And so, which we don't know now, like this is kind of what we're looking into because the lady I'm working with Project Red D about underfueling and things, is the not ovulating. Is that another symptom of underfueling and reds in dancers and in sport? So they put me on Clomid, which helps you ovulate. So I did 6 months of Clomid, nothing happened. So then they said, we think you're going to have to go down the IVF route. So then we did 3 rounds of IVF, which using my own eggs, but every time they collected my eggs, the quality was not good. And they couldn't understand why the quality wasn't good, because I never smoked. I wasn't like a drinker. And they're usually the 2 main things that really affect egg quality. So then we did a final 4th round of IVF using my eggs, and nothing. It didn't work again. So I didn't even fall pregnant with it. So then we turned to egg donor. So that was the kind of next step for us. And so we found an egg donor. We used a clinic in Madrid, and then we did the first round of that, and the first round didn't work, but they had collected so many eggs. This woman was amazing, absolutely amazing. And then my second round using her eggs worked. And so that's how we got my daughter Lyra. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So
wow. That would have been really hard.
Yeah.
There would have been lots of
it was
ups and downs.
It was 8 It was 8 years. Yeah, it was 8 years altogether. trying to
Wow.
get her. So it was a really, really long time and a lot
Yeah.
of really difficult times. What happened during my career, the underfueling, the eating disorder, all that stuff had an impact on
Yeah.
my fertility later on,
Yeah.
definitely. So something in my 20s when that was all happening affected my egg
Yeah.
quality and
Yeah.
the infertility.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. As personal as it is, it's so helpful for other dancers, either
Mm,
who have experienced a similar thing or maybe are a little bit younger and
hmm
in a company and feeling that pressure, just to sit with that.
hmm
Is there anything you could advise maybe younger dancers on self-worth and body image now in your experience that you've learnt that you would like to pass on to them?
Oh, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. This project that I'm involved in, this project Red D, relative energy deficiency in dancers, this is something we're really trying to work on.
Mm.
How how can we help the dancers? How can we try and get them to change their mindset, on
Yeah.
how a dancer has to look? And it's so difficult because a lot of the time it comes from the top and it's not
Yeah.
the dancers, it's what directors, what coaches, what directors are looking for in companies, in schools. There are people that are changing it and are trying to
Yeah.
change it. Like I know David Hallberg at the Australian Ballet Company,
Yeah.
the director, he is trying to do so much to change that. Ian Mackay, director of the Royal Ballet School, he is
Yeah.
real. I mean, some of the articles that are coming out that he has done are incredible,
Yeah.
and these people are really trying to make a change, but it's still such an aesthetically looking art form, and
Mm.
it's really hard to change that mindset. I think you just have to remember that dance it's such a short career, like such a short career, and that your life after dance is going to be longer, and
Yeah.
you need to be healthy for that. I think if I was going to go through what I did for the last 8 years and still continuing to go through the
Mm.
infertility in the last few years, I don't think I wouldn't wish for the career that I had in
Yeah. Okay.
like
Yeah.
yeah, I would exchange that within a heartbeat
Oh,
to
yeah.
not go through
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
I think you just have to remember that it's a short career and that it's your health, and not just your physical health, but your mental health as well is so important. It's a hard one. It's a hard one
It,
to
it is, and I find even just with mindset work in terms for dancers, you can't do mindset work without also addressing the ecosystem of the dancer. It's such a systemic
Mm,
issue as well, and so layered. So it's good to talk to people who are helping advocate for systemic change as well,
mm,
just in pedagogy
yeah.
and also in disordered eating, which is something that is
Mm,
very prevalent for a ballerina.
absolutely. I think that its language is a huge issue in dance. The language that
Yeah.
is used surrounding dance and the culture. And I think
Mm,
if we can help change that, or not necessarily change it, but just give people the knowledge, because sometimes people don't know that one word that they use could trigger that person. And so I think it's just giving people the knowledge. And also, it's not just coaches and directors and teachers, it's also parents and family
mm,
members,
yeah.
because they might not understand how to address this issue of disordered eating, whether it's RED. It's really difficult. So I think if we can just give people the knowledge or the information, and then they can have that and just be really mindful of the language that they are using.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And with part of your amazing career and your beautiful life, you've had some transitions into teaching and now
hmm
you're working with progressing ballet
hmm
technique.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you about transitions in life, like
hmm
as a career. So from being principal dancer, firstly, what made you decide, okay, I'm not going to dance anymore? How did you feel? And what have your transitions in life been like that after? Long question.
No, that's okay. um, I was ready to kind of stop. I really loved my career. I mean, it had moments where I didn't want to do it anymore, but I loved it and I had such a great time. And it was such a great company as well to be part of during that. We had amazing rep, and I actually did go in and give him my notice. And the director, David Bentley, at the time said no. He was like, can you stay on at least one more
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
And what can we do to help you stay on? And so that's when I said, well, you can give me every Thursday off because I want to go and do the Pilates course in London with Alan Herdman. And that was
Great. Yeah.
every Thursday in London. So that was kind of my condition. Like I'd actually never asked for anything in my life in the company. Like I'd never asked to do roles. If anything, I asked to be taken out of roles. Like I never wanted to do it. I didn't want to do Aurora and I didn't want to do prayer in Capalia. They were the two things I didn't want to do, but I did them. I did them, and then
Love it.
after years and years of doing them, I said I don't want to do them anymore. They're too
Yeah.
too stressful.
Yeah.
So they were the only things I ever asked for. And then I said to him, I just need Thursdays off so I can go and do my course.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, great. So he let me do that for a year, which was amazing. And actually, I'm glad I did stay on for that final year because the rep was really amazing. It was all the stuff that I love to do. And it finished with Romeo and Juliet, which was the first full-length ballet that I did. So it was like full
Yeah.
circle
I
for
remember
me.
seeing that online, and
So
you're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So it was kind of full circle for me. And yeah, I was ready to stop and I wanted to do other things. And so much of your career is like you're told what to do. It's dictated to you. You know what rehearsal you're going to, what you're cast as, what like everything's just scheduled. You know exactly what you're doing every day
Yeah.
and they tell you what to do, you know? And
Yeah.
I wanted to have at least one decision of when I stopped dancing. And I didn't want that to be because either I was injured, like I had a really bad injury and couldn't get back or was struggling, or that I was like starting to get too old and declining, which everybody does. And then they just start to kind of push you out, you know,
Yeah.
slowly push you out.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. I just wanted to finish when I was really loving it at the top of my game, and it was my choice, not
Yeah.
somebody else's or not because of an injury. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I had no regrets retiring at that time. You know, I have moments sometimes when I watch a show and I'd be like, oh, it'd be nice to do that ballet. But then I remember what it's like. And then I'm sitting out in the audience with my glass of wine and I'm like, oh, this is much better.
I love it.
Haven't been there.
Yeah.
You know, I miss
Yeah.
the live music. I miss the people. Like that's the main
Yeah.
thing you miss. Like, and to be honest, it's the funny moments on stage. They're the ones I miss the most, where you're like
Yeah.
just laughing so much on stage because someone's done something or whatever. And they're the moments I miss the most. But and also like with the partners that I had, the connection you have with them on stage, it's a different relationship to what you have with your personal relationships outside of work. And
Yeah.
just having that kind of really intimate relationship with those people, sharing those moments on stage. Like I miss that stuff,
Mm,
but not all the,
special.
no, the blood, sweat, and tears. No way.
No.
Like
Yeah.
it's too
And then
hard.
you
It's
moved
so
into
hard.
Pilates, didn't you, after that?
Yes,
You,
I did.
yes,
So
yes.
I then, yeah, I was in London and I started working in a studio in Chelsea there, which was great. So I worked there for 3 years and then I started my own home studio in London. And yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So there's been no grief or loss with your transitions. It sounds like maybe you've consciously made the choice and thought ahead of time as to, what you want and where you want to go. Would that be correct?
Yeah, it is. Like, I mean, it's funny because I guess I was like a real bunhead. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that I probably would struggle stopping from dancing. And I think I surprised myself actually.
Mm.
I didn't struggle with it.
Yeah,
I still haven't done a ballet class. It's been 7 years and I don't
I
feel
love that.
the need to do a ballet class. I sometimes muck around with Lyra and I'm like, oh my God, that's painful. How did
Yeah,
we do that? And like I watch a show and I think, how do they do that? Like it's
yeah,
crazy. And I think it's just amazing. No grief with it or a loss. I think I was just really ready. I had a real direction on what I was going to do. I still don't know what I'm doing in life, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't that
When you still
nice?
like,
Yeah.
but
What am
when
I
you
going to do with
still,
my
yeah, do you know what I mean though? Like, I feel like, sometimes I sit there and I go, oh, yeah, what am I going to do in my life? Like, and I'm like, I should really know. Like, I'm like 41. I should know what I'm doing in my life. But yeah, I really love teaching Pilates. I love working for PBT because I don't know, for me, I don't actually like teaching ballet. I don't mind
Yeah.
coaching solos and repertoire, but I cannot teach class at
Yeah.
all. I don't like it. I don't teach a very good class. Yeah, I don't really enjoy it.
Wow, that's so self-aware. I bet you do teach a good class, but I like that you know that you don't like it.
It's just not something I'm good at. And the funny thing is I think it is really hard to be a good teacher. Like it's a hard job and it's not for everyone. And I think
No.
just because you maybe were a good dancer or you had a great career does not make you a good
Yeah.
teacher at all. It's hard. It's really hard work. And I don't mind coaching. That's fine, but
Yeah.
class, no, I can't do it.
I love that it's like this full circle. Marie was your
Yeah.
teacher, your first teacher, and now you're working with Marie in PBT.
Mm.
I just think that's so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
like a full
yeah,
circle.
it is actually. I mean, I don't really think about it. But yeah, now that you say it, it is. And it is amazing. I mean, she's just amazing. I can't
Yeah,
like she's still going and she just has so many ideas for PBT and all this and it's incredible. Like it's
yeah,
absolutely amazing. She's still so passionate
I
and wants
know.
to make a difference. And it's
And she
amazing.
always returns a text message. I'm just like, I know she's busy. I'm like, I just have a question. She's like, yep. Like it's usually within
Yeah.
half an hour or something. A little
Yeah.
love heart emoji.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. She's
How do you do that?
amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. She's absolutely incredible. I love teaching that kind of side, like the rehabilitation, the strengthening. I really enjoy that, helping people. I don't know whether it's because I had injuries or what, but I really enjoy that side of
That's so
working with the
beautiful.
dancers.
And your beautiful husband, I feel
Yes.
like we've forgotten him. So he's still dancing.
He is. Yes. Yeah, he's principal with the Australian Ballet.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you
Mhm.
met him in Birmingham Royal
Yeah.
Ballet. And the love story is you're together and you've got beautiful Lyra.
Yeah,
And he's enjoying his dancing.
he loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of knew him at school, not really. He was like 2 years below me at school, but we've been together 19 years now, and he's just incredible. Yeah, he's an incredible dancer. And we together in Birmingham. So we got married, and then he moved to
Yeah.
London. So he was in London, I was in Birmingham, and then I retired and went to London. So he went to E&B and had an
Yeah.
incredible career at E&B with Tamara, was director there at the time. So he was there 5 years. And then he'd actually tried to get a job here at Aussie Ballet years before that when he was back in Birmingham, but there was nothing available. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he did get in contact with David, but it took 2 years for him to get the job in at Aussie Ballet. So it
Yeah.
wasn't just like straight away he got the job. Yeah.
And so you can go and sit and watch him perform, drink
Yeah.
your glass of wine, enjoy it and think,
Yes.
ah, that's not me.
Yes. Yes.
That's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think he's slightly
Winning.
jealous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's jealous for sure. But yeah, but no, he's amazing and he's just like the best dad and it's great. To be honest, he loves dancing himself and he loves ballet. He hates watching it. He will not watch it. He just doesn't
Yeah.
enjoy it at all. So he doesn't enjoy musicals, nothing like that. He's sports. So
Yeah.
so he comes home, we don't actually really talk about ballet very much at all. He doesn't even know what he's doing the next day. He's absolutely
That's
hopeless with that stuff.
Actually, I always used to think there was something wrong with me when I had my school. The last thing I wanted to do on the weekend was go and watch a ballet or go and everyone
Yeah,
thought
no.
just because you're a dance teacher and you know
Mm-mm.
that you might that's something you'd want to do. And I go, no, I don't. I want to do the complete opposite.
No, yeah. I drag him to shows, and he usually falls asleep, or he's just like, ugh, like he
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, you can tell he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Wow.
loves doing it, and yeah, he's so passionate about it, but he
Yeah.
doesn't watch it. He does not enjoy it at all.
I love that. Oh, well, my beautiful friend Jenna, we've come to the end of our conversation today. I'm so, so grateful for everything that you've shared, and you've just got such a beautiful, full, gorgeous life, and so many young dancers coming up will, and I know parents and teachers will really appreciate your candidness and your open honesty.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for having me. And I think it's amazing, yeah, what you're doing. You're
Oh,
incredible.
oh, you're very kind.
So.
I just got bored here in Germany.
No.
I can't speak German. I'll start a podcast.
I love that though. That's great.
Oh, really?